Iggy and Twiggy came to Young at Heart from open admission shelters. Iggy came in first. He was quite a bit more ill than our typical seniors who come in, so the decision was made to take him to a 24-hour care facility. He was found to have pneumonia, severe heart disease. He had a bladder stone that filled up his entire bladder, and kind of just as icing on the cake, he had severe dental disease. After about a 5-day stay in the ICU, Iggy was released to his wonderful foster family. Iggy saw the cardiologist. He was diagnosed with congestive heart failure, but the cardiologist did clear him for surgery with the stipulation that the surgery needed to be done with a board-certified anesthesiologist. We called the University of Wisconsin at Madison and made an appointment. Being the little champion that he is, he made it through the procedure and was home within just a couple days.
He's just doing really well, and he's happy. Young at Heart couldn't do any more for senior pets. They've went above and beyond and always will.
This guy gets the care and the attention he needs. They all do. You have to allow yourself to love the animal unconditionally. And that's what heals them.
He's a sick little guy with a really bad heart, but he doesn't know it. He's funny, he's silly, he's loving life, and he's just so fun to see him change and get better every day. They obviously haven't had a good life up until this point, so I'm gonna make up for it. I'm honored to be able to give them that.
Twiggy joined Young at Heart just a few days after little Iggy. Coming in, we were alerted that she had difficulty walking or potentially had a deformity. She would take a few steps and her little back legs would just collapse. That meant a trip to the orthopedic surgeon. She was diagnosed with severe luxating patellas, but in addition to that, she had bilateral ruptured cruciates, which meant extensive surgery on both knees. This poor little girl had been living in pain and discomfort and just having very, very limited mobility. We received an estimate for Twiggy of about $6,000. There was no question of whether we would do the surgery. We always want to address the medical needs of our seniors, and Twiggy was no exception. Twiggy stayed with us for the first 8 weeks. She recovered quickly, especially with the addition of cold laser therapy. Twiggy regained the mobility of what we would expect to see in a 7-year-old Chihuahua. She went from a dog who couldn't walk a few steps without collapsing to a dog who had newfound mobility. She discovered she could run and she could hop and that she could probably do the things that she'd never been able to do before. Just about 2 weeks ago, Twiggy joined her new family. She has a little Chihuahua sister. They're like two little peas in a pod. Twiggy now gets to start the next part of her journey as a happy and healthy senior who is adopted and loved.
When Rizzo first came to us, Rizzo had the cards stacked against him. He's big, he's black, he had medical issues, and he's older. When he was laying down, he struggled when he was on his side, breathing, his legs would shake. He can't scratch himself, he can't clean himself. He couldn't do anything for extended periods of time, so when we would get him up and walk him out, we would go to one end of the yard and back. Fortunately, he's been relatively healthy otherwise. I think a lot of his issues stem from his weight. Within about the first 2 weeks, we were finally able to start taking him on walks. So we started bringing Rizzo to hydrotherapy. They started him out very slowly. Now he's consistently doing 15 minutes. I could see a marked improvement with his shaking in his legs and any limping he had going on. Clearly he's building up strength and he really enjoys it. He came to us at 176 pounds and today he was 132. He's a special guy. His tail tells the story, which is always wagging. The people that are within this organization have hearts of gold and they will do anything it takes to make these seniors comfortable. I was blown away by the level of care that they'll provide to seniors, and now having lived it with Rizzo, it's amazing. I never expected the weight to come off this easily. That having been his major issue was so easily resolved. Now the rest of his years will be wonderful years. He loves to be hugged, he loves to be kissed, he loves to be cuddled. When I make any sort of indication to him and his tail just starts to wag like crazy, and he's very happy, and I know that I had a lot to do with that, and that's so rewarding.
So Tootsie is a 15-year-old kitty who came to the rescue on death's door. She was frail, she barely weighed 5 pounds, and her fur was matted to her skin. We quickly learned that Tootsie was in congestive heart failure and chronic renal failure, which gave her a guarded prognosis. But at that same time, we decided that we wanted to give her every chance humanely possible. After 5 days in the critical care unit, Tootsie was released to her foster home, which eventually became her sanctuary home. And it was then that we found out that she may be little, but she's awfully mighty and had a lot of life left to live. Young at Heart is committed to every single senior that we rescue, and one of those commitments is through our sanctuary program. Tootsie, along with all of the other seniors in our sanctuary program, have needs that outweigh those that we expect a traditional adopter to take on. So instead, we are committed to them for life. They stay with us in loving sanctuary homes where they get all the love and care that they need, and Young at Heart supports them financially. She rules the roost in her foster home and bosses the kitties around. She steals food off your plate, and at the end of the day, she is just a champion snuggler. She is so full of life and love, and I can't imagine Young at Heart without her. I think she's one of the prime examples of why all of our seniors deserve a second chance.